Computer.
Why? Whose computer are you using?
It's Jackie's.
Oh,
My laptop charger stopped charging and it's
Mm.
stupid. So it's like it was at 75 yesterday and right now it's at 50 and I was like, oh yeah, it's not gonna make it.
oh
So
no.
Mm.
yeah, I was like, I'm borrowing it. So I'm saving it on the cloud so we can upload it, which I didn't upload last book, but
That's okay.
it's okay. Okay, what do we think? Did you guys finish?
Very interesting. Yes.
Yeah, I finished
Yeah.
yesterday. It was
Not
good.
quite.
Yeah,
No.
so
I
um
forgot. I'm like, I don't know why I forgot that it was happening. So I started reading like an hour ago, so I didn't finish.
I was gonna say, the section that I gave out was very short compared to what we should be reading because it's very lengthy.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
but I just felt like because I also gave you guys the book pretty late, and then
Mhm.
I don't know if people were gonna get the book on time and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so I think we're gonna go into it February. Um, we'll see. Because it's like
Mhm.
120 pages if we do it in the next 4 weeks, and I'm like, I don't know if you guys are
Mhm.
okay with that. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I'm okay either way. I want to read more because I kind of had like a lull as well. So
Yeah.
parent conference time in November. But I mean, it's manageable for me. But I know that I feel like you guys might be busy or something. I mostly don't do anything on Saturday mornings. So whatever you
So
do.
I mean, we can think about that, and then at the end we can discuss it. But what did we think of the book?
I liked it a lot.
Mhm.
I,
I
I
didn't realize it was Kristin Hanna, even
mhm.
though I pitched it and I probably wrote her name down. But
I because it was her, I was nervous because I read her other book, the one about the Dust Bowl, and that one was super depressing. So I was kind of like worried that this one would be really sad too. Not that being sad doesn't mean it's not good, but this one wasn't as sad, so at least so far. So I enjoyed it for that too.
I think that's what Julie kept saying, right? That the something that book you're talking about was very depressing.
Let me look it up. Because yeah, I remember my coworker mentioning that book and her ancestors like were Okies that came to California during the Dust Bowl era. And I read it because she recommended it, and I was just like depressed the whole time.
But I mean, so far I feel like I like it.
mhm,
So
it's
far,
interesting.
Yeah.
no, yeah, this one's really good, and I really like history, so I like it for that reason too. And I am really curious too about like the sister dynamic. I feel like that's always, could be really
Mhm.
um, and so I feel like it has a lot of things going for it. So I'm interested to see what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, like had no idea that Paris went under siege in
Yeah,
World War II. Maybe I should have known that, but
there's not a lot of castles in some places of Europe because of the bombings that took place during like World War II, except I think in one country that I can't remember the name, but they chose to stay neutral. That place like has more castles because it wasn't bombed by Germany.
mhm.
But I didn't realize like people actually got shot in the fields as they were like trying to escape too. That was really sad.
Yeah, that I mean, I've never been super into history, but reading this, I'm like, what? Like, I know what happened in the war, but it's kind of
Mhm.
like, oh, geez, like it's
Um,
more of a refresher because I feel like back then I didn't really care about history. And now that I'm reading it in a book, I'm kind of like, oh, I want to know more. Let's
I,
see.
I remember for my sophomore history class, like the teacher would say that for this war, like a lot of the countries didn't actually like believe Hitler would like proceed and get past certain places like the
Mhm.
wall of the book. And he just would, and he would keep going. And a lot of places like were in denial and they didn't act until it was too late. The United States also did not get involved until like the bombing of some boat or submarine that was theirs,
Mhm.
because they were trying to be neutral, but they also kind of went in late at the last minute. And I think because of the bombing of the boat and also the bombing of Pearl Harbor, like that's when they were like, okay, yeah, like this is a strike against us, and now we're in for sure. But the United
Mhm.
States got into it quite late.
I think it's also interesting that the dad just
Mm-hmm.
kind of left them there. and I was feeling bad for Vianne. I keep trying to call her Vivienne, but it's not. It's Vianne.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's so sad. But then when we get into the chapter Isabel, I don't know why I like completely ignored her. I was like, oh, whatever. And then I was like, you're right. She was so tiny and she was by herself. And now I feel bad for her. Like Vianna's just, I know she's trying to deal with her own grief and trying to move on, but that's so sad that she didn't do much for her sister.
Yeah.
Even now, so far.
Yeah, it sounds like Isabel has been rejected a lot, and that's very difficult. I was listening to a podcast and it was saying that like when you have a feeling of rejected, it's the same as like physical pain.
Mm.
I also wonder what Isabel's going to decide to do, because I think she's going to run off and try to find the guy or get involved in the war somehow.
What do you guys think? Oh, go ahead, Judith.
Go ahead. Mine is just a comment. Yours is a question.
What do you guys think Gabe meant when he said that she's not ready in the no?
Like she's
like
too
not ready for, yeah.
She's too sappy because she was like, I love you right away. And he's like, that probably freaked him out in general, but then also he felt like she doesn't have like enough life experience, even though she faced like some hardships or a lot of hardships in her young life. It's not the same as like being out there in the world and like struggling, because at least she had housing and stuff. And this guy came from jail, so I feel like he maybe has experienced a more tumultuous life, and he's a little bit older too, I think, so more life experience.
But I feel like she's also being judged by, as she kept saying, her beauty and the fact that women can't even go to war. And I'm not saying like, go girl, go to war, but like she wants to make a change and she wants to do something, and it just sucks that there's two things that are against her. She's a female and she's not supposed to go to war, and she's pretty. So I mean, sure, that whole kiss scene or whatever, I didn't think was gonna happen. I was like, oh, she's smarter than that. She's not gonna fall for it. And then she says, I love you. I was like, girl, no, why? Like now I feel like she's gonna be very naive. It's like, oh, where'd he go? No. And the fact that she's crying and she's gonna probably go look for him, I'm just like, oh, never mind. I was kind of rooting for you to be different, but showing her age.
Or just weakness overall.
Yeah.
I was kind of confused in that scene as he left, just because of like the bloody scene that they described. Obviously, I realized that it's like more having to do with the bombings and like the shooting, but for a second I thought he raped her. I don't know why. To that
blood everywhere.
Scene. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, he just left her there. Like he's like, I got it, and that's it. But obviously, that's not what happened.
I feel like it tried to trick us that way because it did seem to imply it, and then it wasn't true at all.
That's true. We kind of don't really know if it was just a kiss. I feel like he will. I don't know. He came from prison.
Yeah.
He was cocky though, because he was like, "Oh, I could make you want me if I wanted to," or something.
Yeah. Like, which I guess that gives him some like. It gives me, if I was in her position, he's like, if I wanted to, I would have been like, oh no, you know what, you're right. But it's also like, are you being stupid by completely just accepting it and be like, that's true, when it's a complete stranger and like, I don't know, she's pretty.
Yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to like this guy or if he's like a Captain Jack Sparrow type character or what.
And then at the very beginning of the book, is the old lady Vivienne or is, I mean, I don't have the book right now, but it's bugging me now. But she took out like a picture from the trunk, right? So I wonder if that was her sister, right?
Yes.
For me, please, Judith.
It was.
Maybe she's looking at her sister and she let her sister go and her sister died in the war, is what I was thinking might have happened. But I didn't go back to check until I'm just thinking of it right now.
So in the beginning,
It could be
Um,
reversed too. Maybe Isabel survives and it's a picture of Vivienne or something.
so the name was Juliet.
Juliet.
So we don't have that name yet unless
Someone
somebody's name is
change,
not that.
changes her name maybe to not like be dragged back to her family, perhaps. Or it could be a totally new character also.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, because I started typing up stuff because I found a PDF online and I
Mhm.
was reading at work, taking notes. So I have it in the document, and I love that right from the bat we got in love we find out who we want to be, and in war we find out who we are. And I was like,
Mhm.
like within the first few pages, I was like, that is such a good quote. And
Yeah.
then I was confused because then we're talking about like someone who is diagnosed with something we don't know, and it says like her husband died, or and then
Yeah.
they talk about this picture of Juliet, but we don't get a Juliet. So I'm like, is it a fake name? Is it like a lover? Is it, you know?
Yeah. A lot of people change their identities.
Yeah.
In that time. If you were I started reading another book that I never finished, but it was about this era too. And it was like a nurse who would change like the travel documents of Jewish people and pass them off as different nationalities to help them like get to safety. So I wonder, because the Nazis would like check everyone's travel card when you're out and about.
And I
Maybe she
think
does that, so she can't be like, she's already been rejected so much. Maybe she tries to leave her past behind her or something if it's Isabel.
that's true. What was her last name? Apparently, like that's why it's called the Nightingale. It's their last name, right? That's what
Yeah,
it means.
I think it starts with an R, but I can't recall it. I like that link to the title. I was wondering about that. It's cool
Yeah.
because it shows like the book really might be like equally about both sisters, but we don't know that yet.
Mm-hmm.
The it's not Vivian. Vienne? Is that
Yeah,
her name?
Vivian. I want to call her Vivian though. This is
Yeah,
better.
it's just easier.
Yeah.
Vienne and her husband Anthony
Mhm.
reminded me of the first generation of women in the women in salt. The one
Mm,
who worked in the tobacco factory because she married that man Anthony
Mm-hmm.
or
I think it
Antonio.
was. Yeah.
Antonio.
Yeah.
And then they had one little girl and they were like so in love and then he ended up dying. It just kind of reminded me of that family.
It kind of does talk about like generational things, right? Because we don't know who the lady at the very beginning is.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she could be the granddaughter of one of them or the daughter. We don't know that yet. But yeah, you're right. It has some things in common to that one. Also, the change in perspective between Vienne and Isabel.
I kind of like Isabel. Just because she's like, why do we care about manners? There's a freaking war. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, you go, girl. I don't even like oranges. Why am I gonna try and eat
Yeah.
it properly? I was like, oh my God.
I'll spin it with your nails like the American. I do like characters that question things because I don't like when people just take information blindly.
Yeah. Like it's interesting how they're trying to ignore what's really happening in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And how even Vian is seeing that. How they're like, why are we learning French? We should learn German. We should learn how
Mm-hmm.
to. And I was like, whoa, it's kind of cool. But also crazy that they said they had to take the children to, like their kids to school, right? To teach. Like how like obviously you guys are teachers. Imagine you have to take. I
Your
know you guys
child.
don't have
Yeah.
kids, but your kids
No, I don't think
while
that's
you
allowed really
teach.
anymore. Even volunteers, you can't come with your children or anything. And I think in the past, I remember seeing some moms come with like their little babies and stuff, but it just has to be like a straight up adult.
Mm. How
I
disruptive that would be.
yeah. I do think kids maybe back then were not necessarily more well behaved, but things were maybe just stricter.
Oh yeah.
So everyone just had the same blanket curriculum, and like individual needs weren't necessarily met. So just like the kids show up for their lesson.
Mm-hmm.
But I couldn't imagine doing it now unless I know some of my colleagues sometimes bring their kids to work, especially during the pandemic. Like it'd be for like a period,
Mm-hmm.
or like their kids get off of school at this elementary school next door, and then they walk over and we're not out yet, and they just like hang out. But they're, old enough to like, I don't know, sit on an iPad.
Yeah.
I guess.
iPad kids.
Yes.
Do you remember that girl in our class? I don't remember. Maybe it was during the credential time slash when we had like one of the children's literature classes, and she'd be babysitting, and she would like one time she asked permission to like zoom into class, but we like all knew she was lying to the professor, and she was like, "I have to babysit." And then one time she brought the baby in, but the baby kept crying, so it was like kind of awkward.
Or I don't remember that, but that is kind of uncomfortable, I guess.
Yeah, she did it a few times, and then I remember like later on in the future we saw the professors again, and someone was saying like, "Oh, whatever happened to that girl?" But um, the professors were like, "Yeah, we knew that some of the time she wasn't telling the truth, but to give her the benefit of the doubt." I was like, that's nice.
Yeah. I mean, she was trying to make money. I don't really blame her.
Yeah.
I did think it was interesting in Vianne's point of view. I like the character. And then in Isabella's point of view, I just kind of pity her, and she doesn't really impress me much.
Mm-hmm.
So I like how the author is able to skew your opinion of her.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like I like the end, but at the same time, I feel like she kind of is just gonna like accept whatever happens. So I do appreciate like how Isabel kind of is like pushing back and trying to do something, even though she's a little bit of a hot mess right now.
Mhm.
She might likely just get herself killed by trying to do something, but hopefully, she figures it out. But then I think like for Vienne too, since she was older and she saw like the book has mentioned like how it affected her dad when he came back from the war too. I can understand like why she's probably like just disassociating because it's too much to handle for her. She might be getting overwhelmed versus Isabel might not remember everything.
Mhm.
I'm still amazed with the dad though. Like, I know he was going through it, but at the same time, I'm like, these are your children.
Mm-hmm.
And even after all the times that Isabel was like kicked out and I think Vianne mentioned that she had previously already gone to Paris, and then obviously she was sent out to another school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now then she went back again and then sent out again. I'm just like, that's so, like, I don't know. He's horrible. Like,
Mhm.
what dad would do that?
Yeah. I just finished a book where like there was an older sister and she got married like very young in India and she left to make a new life for herself. And her younger sister, she didn't know that she had a younger sister, but she had a younger sister. And the younger sister came to like the town to find her and kind of like started like making her life go crazy. So I kind of wonder if that might happen here too.
Mm.
Maybe Isabel could stay around for a while, but then maybe she's going to be saying if they get occupied, which it sounds like they will, if she says like the wrong thing in front of like Nazi soldiers or something, then she could get them all in trouble or all killed. I mean, I hope Leanne's husband survives the war, but it doesn't sound like he has a lot of experience, so my hopes are not very high for him.
And he's on the front lines.
Mm-hmm.
So I was also interesting to read about how the Paris government just left into a different town to like save themselves instead of like holding their ground.
Mm-hmm.
I also have to look at a map of France because to see where they're all at.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was doing in the beginning, when they were mentioning Caribou and the
Mhm.
Le Jardin and all that stuff, and I was looking it up and I was like, oh, this is cool. It helped me picture better the fields and all that stuff. But then I'm like I said, I was doing that when I was at work, so I was just
Mhm.
on the computer. But then I started, when I grabbed the book, I stopped searching and I was like, I should try and continue to do more of like deep search like that to make sure that in my head I don't just, I don't know, just better pictures and more accurate.
This movie is not like factually correct, but I think like it does a good job of like depicting like the era. Inglourious Basterds by Quentin Tarantino. It's a crazy movie, but I remember there's like a part where it's like the French like countryside, and at the beginning I was totally picturing that in my brain.
It does make me want to go to France, even though it's like about war, but
Yeah.
just to see.
But it's interesting to be in places where historical things happened, even if they were bad.
Do you think both sisters are going to make it, or do you think it's just going to be one?
Right now my brain is thinking that the one in the picture at the beginning is one of the sisters and they died. So I want to say like at least one does not make it. But it depends who the lady at the beginning is.
Yeah, I do think maybe she is. I don't know, like you were saying, Corinne, if it's a different character or if it's one of the sisters.
Yeah.
But I do think she might be French. So I also thought maybe it's maybe a refugee, a Jewish
Good. Yeah.
refugee. But she said something about her son that was like these Americans, blah
Yeah.
blah blah, like something kind of sassy. So I seems like something a French person would say.
I wonder like maybe it's a person that maybe Isabel rescues somebody and Isabel dies and it's Isabel's picture, but that's the person that she rescued, not necessarily like someone that's related to them.
Mhm.
Mm.
And I think that lady, the old lady's sister, her or not her sister, her daughter died.
It sounded like it, right?
Mhm. From this an illness, and maybe she has the same illness.
I mean, I guess it is pretty sad, but it's just not as sad as the ones.
Mhm.
Um,
Although I feel like from the start you just get this like sadness.
mhm. That's kind of
Like, oh, I'm
yeah.
sick. And we don't know what she's sick from.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't really know who this person is. And then we start into like the war and like the little girls are left by themselves. It's just like
It's sad in a
you
different
can
way.
just tell it's depressing as soon as you like start reading it. You're just like,
Yeah.
like, oh, wait. It's not like happy,
Yeah.
even though,
Mhm.
Fianne got to have a kid after
I,
miscarriages and like,
mhm. It shows like the hardships of human life, which is what like the author does in the other book. But I guess in the other book, like for me, it was harder to read how when they didn't have food or crops, like they were literally like starving alive, kind of. I think that part was more draining for me to read than this. But
mm,
probably to have more of an interest in history, like I find it easier to read. But I wonder if it's gonna get more sad as it goes on too. 'Cause now I feel like it's just setting up.
yeah. And it says it's gonna be a movie. It's not a movie yet, right?
That's what I
Or it
was just
is.
saying. No, I don't think it's out yet.
Because
I
it's a
think it
recent
keeps
book,
like
right?
being pushed back
Mm-hmm.
with the Fanning sisters.
Oh, really?
Oh, amazing.
Hmm.
It would be
I
great
don't
if
think they've been in anything together, right?
no.
I don't know.
Well, they're both good actresses.
Because it said that it
Yeah.
was gonna release 22 and then it got pushed to 22, 23. But
Mhm.
nothing came up, so I don't know. Maybe it's still delayed.
Could be.
Let me see if it's. No.
And the younger one is good at period pieces because I have been watching her series, Catherine.
Oh, the Nightingale.
So yeah, there's a lot of good war movies about this era. I'll have to pull up some titles in case anyone's interested.
Yeah, Kristin. Hannah.
Hmm.
Did you guys see A Ballad of Songbirds and
Yes.
Snakes?
I did not.
So
I wanted to
good.
read the books first, so I ran out of time.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
It's so good. My friend and I wanted to go watch it again, and she ended up buying it. So now I can watch it in the living room, and I'm like,
Nice.
Cool.
we already saw it here. It was nice.
It's not
It's
a
really
spoiler, Karina, but that Rachel Zelger,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know she had such a good voice.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised.
Actress that's gonna play Snow White in the like live action Snow White.
Oh, I thought she got
good.
fired.
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Always behind the times in pop culture.
Mm. It was because I think she was like bad mouthing the movie.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm not even sure it's gonna come out because her scandal with it occurred, and then they weren't gonna do the Severed Dwarfs.
Mhm.
They were just gonna have like normal people, not normal people, but people of
Yeah.
average height. And then everyone was upset because they were like, you have to have the dwarves. And then they put in CGI dwarves, and then everyone was upset again because they were taking away jobs of
Yeah.
actual little people
Yeah.
actors.
Mhm.
Or a little.
So I don't know if it's actually going to happen.
Oh, I know that. Interesting.
It's interesting how a lot of stuff can easily become problematic.
Mm-hmm.
Cancel
I've been
culture.
hearing this term lately where, like our society right now is currently very sensitive
Mm.
to a lot of things. That's why like movies that were made like even 20 years ago wouldn't have been able to be made now because
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that wouldn't fly.
Well, if you see
Mhm.
the old version of Pinocchio or the original from Disney, it's really creepy actually. And I'm like, oh, this is scary. And I'm an adult.
I can't find anything about it. Maybe they like stopped. Like,
Maybe Disney's trying to keep it hush hush.
yeah, it doesn't seem like they were they were supposed to start
Bless you.
working on it again, but And
Yeah.
then I see one that says the Nightingale 2025, but I don't know.
Hmm.
Maybe something happened with the writer's strike.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was thinking too. Like I came across one that said that it was delayed because of COVID, and then it started again. But I think because of the writer's strike, like a lot of things were held back too.
Makes sense.
Release date, facts. It says 2024, but
I think that would make a very
Yeah,
good movie,
I keep
even
that
forgetting we're in
is
2024.
that is so funny. It says theoretic. Oh, Wait, what? The release date is January 2nd. That's a lie.
Because they travel back
So
in time.
the estimated DVD and Blu April 2024. No. What? Is it out? It says cinema release date was January 1st. Maybe this was before.
This might be an old article, yeah.
Probably, yeah. No, it ain't no way. No, that's a lie. I don't trust it. Well, we're gonna have to It's probably next year. I was dividing the sections.
Mm-hmm.
So, because we have, I mean, January has 4 Sundays, but I was thinking we can do one. I think I separated into 5 sections of like 96. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we would probably end up finishing it halfway through February, so maybe the 11th. Let me
Okay.
see. Let me just double check because I separated them, but then it's like this is the 14th, 21, 28, 4. Yeah, we would finish the book by February 11th with 96-ish pages. I think not this section, but the following one is gonna have like 100, but then at the end it's gonna be 88 just because the chapter was really weird.
That's reasonable, yeah. Sounds good.
And I feel like 96 seems a little okay. So we didn't do 120, and then it's like I think it's doable because it seems like a good story, but it's also like a lot of information. So 96. The next one would be chapter 8 to chapter 12. Don't read
13.
13.
Okay.
Chapters 8 through 12, not 13. Got it. Yeah, I'm excited for this book. I think it's going to be a really good one. And it's cool that it's like the first one from the new year. So
This kind of reminds me of the ballads of songbirds and
Oh
snakes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Mockingjay,
Mm-hmm.
Corio, love that man. But also Snow. Oh, so good.
yeah, a lot of angst in that book, I remember.
Wait, you haven't watched the Karina, right?
No, but I'm gonna reread it and watch it soon. But you can say it, I don't mind, because I read the book already.
No, I was just gonna say you need to watch it. It's so good.
Yeah.
Tell me why. Like at the beginning of my winter break, even before then, I went to brunch with my friend in Campbell. I remember that little bookstore, Daleen, the recycle.
Mhm.
We went in there and I had been certain I had the copies of Hunger Games series at home, but I didn't. So I bought the first 2. And then I had the one from book club, the green one, and I was like, I'm gonna read them. And then I think like the last 2 weeks of school were just like so crazy because I know it won't take me long to read them because they're written more like middle school age and I've read them before. And if I read it before, I can, it doesn't take me as long. But I never even touched them. And then over the winter break, I'm like, I feel like there was a movie I want to see. But then I ended up the first week I was catching up with friends on different days, and the second week I just kind of stayed at home. And I told Rico I want to go to the movies, but I can't remember what movie. And then I'm realizing that and
It
now
was that
I'm like, oh my God, I totally missed it. I could have gone. But it was also myself that I wanted to read the book before going so I could have everything fresh in my brain. So just didn't line up for me this time, but I could see it at home soon.
I wanted to reread it, but then I was like, I'm gonna hate everything that is not like the book. So I'm like, I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
I should have done it in reverse, just watch the movie and then go back to read the book.
It was nice because I also thought about rereading it. But because we read it so long ago, I forgot some things. So it was a little surprising because I forgot what happened a little bit.
There's a lot of inks in that one too, I remember. And I like when they have inks.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've read it. Like
at least 2 years, not?
Mm-hmm.
It was still the pandemic.
It was in 2020. So it
Yeah.
was 3
Mhm.
years. Basically 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, the fact that we read that book, and I thought it had just been like maybe 1 year, maybe
Mm-hmm.
2. It was exactly 3 years, and I
It
was
was
like,
like our February
whoa.
book, right? January, February. I
It
remember
was a
reading.
November book.
Mm.
December,
And Daily needs
December book,
to
December book.
I think it is.
Yeah.
That was a really good one.
Do you think Claudia ever read it?
She still has it, I think. She came over today and then she was telling, we were talking about reading because I have my stack of books here. And we were talking about like New Year's resolutions, and she said, I want to read 6 books. And then I was like, oh, I have this one I think you might like. And she was like, I have 2 that you let me borrow. And I was like, I don't even remember which ones, but she told me, and it wasn't that one. So I'll have to ask her. I'll text her right now. I know she still has it because I've seen it at her house, but I don't know if she ever read it.
I was
I
like, because I sent it to her.
emailed it to her, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell her. I'll put her accountable to reading it. And she's probably busy with her baby right now, but she said she wants to read more this year.
I increased my books. I
Nice.
was gonna do. I've always wanted to do the amount of books of the year. So like
Mhm.
last year, I said I was gonna read 25 books, but I'm so glad I only read and listened to 23 because the year was 23, and I was like, oh, so
Mhm.
accomplished.
That's cool.
So I know I was amazed. I was like, oh my gosh, it actually happened. But this year I'm gonna do 29 because that's the year I'm gonna be 29, and I was like,
Oh.
if I don't do that, at
Damn.
least I'll end up at 24. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
eh.
You and Katie are the last ones, I think, to turn 30.
Yeah, it's coming up for me. D-Day.
Yeah.
Dude.
Crazy, crazy. Oh, late 20s, early 30s. Oh my God. Look at
Don't
us.
remind me, I'm gonna be 31.
That's early 30s.
I know, but now I feel like I'm just gonna be stuck at 30 forever.
Until it's
Is it true what they
40s.
say, Darlene? That 30s are the new 20s?
Well, not really. I mean, I feel like your back starts to hurt, like really hurt. I mean, it also
Kenny?
might just be me, but I think it really does hurt more.
My bones cracked more now.
Yeah.
I need to start stretching.
I didn't really feel it. Not this past year. We'll see this year.
God damn it.
Wow. Wow.
Something to look
Remember when
forward
we
to.
were
Does it feel any different for you, Crystal, since you just turned 30?
No, I don't think so. I joined CrossFit because the guy was like,
Nice.
we have to get stronger to be able to because having weightlifting helps you improve not just your muscles, but so that it's where he says people struggle to where to get up from a chair. It's like we shouldn't be. We should be using our muscles to be able to
Yeah.
properly get up, because then it's the way that we carry ourselves in life is how your body's gonna just
Yeah.
deteriorate, I guess,
Oh,
age.
God.
Mhm.
So almost I gotta go big or go home.
How was it?
I've been sore nonstop. Our first class was on Wednesday.
Mhm.
Super sore Wednesday, super sore Friday, and then we still went to Friday class. So I'm I'm kind of dreading tomorrow's class, but
Mhm.
we got to do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got to be
Nice.
consistent.
Yeah.
So we
I'm
can
doing the
talk.
75 hard
Yeah.
and 75
Oh.
soft, so we're doing 75 medium. We combined it because
Wait.
it's it's me, my sister, and her friend, and 75 hard, I think it's unrealistic in that you're gonna do it for the 75 and then that's it. And we're not
Mhm.
trying to do that. We're trying to make it where we're gonna be healthy, and we're gonna, we're not doing a diet, we're eating healthy. And instead of doing the 2 workouts, we're gonna do that, but instead of having one rest day, we're gonna do active rest day. One day where we're still moving, but we're not gonna force ourselves to do those 2 workouts. Because
Yeah.
after the 75, we're gonna be like, what? We don't want to do that. We want to continue to consistently work out. And then the water thing doesn't seem that bad, but we'll see.
What makes it medium?
We created that.
Oh,
We created because 75 hard is the 2 workouts like nonstop. And I think it was like no alcohol and you have to follow
no
a
cheat
diet.
meals.
Yeah, no cheat meals. And I was like, well, what do you consider a cheat meal? What
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
a cheat? You know, like
Basically everything.
yeah. And I was like, any meal that has a freaking tortilla in it for me is a cheat meal. But I'm
Yeah.
like, no, there's wraps that you can eat and are considered
Yeah.
healthy. Like, well,
Mhm.
that makes it hard because I'm not gonna do a strict vegetarian or a vegan or a
Mhm.
you know like diet. I'm just gonna include more vegetables on my stuff and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And just move.
it's hard not to
Yeah,
start the
and
big item.
move basically every day. But we're
Mhm.
gonna do the 2 workouts, but one day we're gonna do like active rest day.
Nice.
Yeah, because we have to. Because we're not young anymore.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When I was sick, when I was like really sick, obviously that also makes it worse. But as we're going up the stairs, I'm like huffing and puffing. I'm like, can't do
That
it.
happened to me the other day too. Then we went back to the gym after a while because I didn't go during conference time in November. Then Alvaro had his graduation from his master's, so we went on the Zoom, which was usually the day we go. And then, like I said, it was crazy town, so I didn't go because I was trying to survive. And then during the break, I guess I could have gone, but I like the classes, and the classes were canceled for the holidays. And we went last Tuesday. And there's one instructor who's really intense, and the other one she's good too, but she's just like less intense. The intense one will be like, "Okay, get ready to die," and then she like harder. You're just like, "Holy smokes!"
Yeah.
The Tuesday one, she's the first one we went to, and she's like a little bit more, just like a slightly easygoing. And we prefer that class. But then Rico was telling me like, "Oh, what if she doesn't come and we get like a substitute?" And I'm like, "I guess that could happen." And he's like, "What if it's the Thursday teacher?" And I'm like, "Well, I know, I don't really think that will happen. I mean, it's the first class." But then we looked at the door and the Thursday lady came in and we were like, "Oh." So yeah, we were hurting.
Mm. That's good though.
Yeah,
That's
they do
good.
push you to do your best though. But it was just funny because I was like, "Oh no." If you don't do a good job, they call you out sometimes. Or you're just like, "Oh, I'm doing my best."
Oh wow.
Oh no.
I wanted to become a Pilates princess, and
Oh.
I do not like Pilates.
Oh.
It's just kind of boring.
Mm.
So I prefer like the dumbbells
Mhm.
workouts. So no
My sis-
Pilates princess for me.
I haven't
My
been to
sister,
Pilates. I think I would think it was boring too.
boring.
Maybe. I've never tried it though. I have to try it first, but
My sister did a free like
mm-hmm.
a one class or something. You know how you try it before you like buy the sessions
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever. And she was over here like she's like the instructor wasn't even like fit. How is that gonna motivate me? And I'm like, I know it's kind of like mean to think that way, but I'm like, if they're not fit, like yeah, obviously, how is that gonna motivate you? If they're
Why
just
would you take advice from them?
exactly right. So she was like, no, I was expecting my instructor to look so good that I wanted to do it, and I was like, well, I mean, it's like it's true. Why would you take advice from someone who does not? I don't know.
Who
You're
doesn't
telling me to
practice
do something.
themselves.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. It seems like it'd be cool, but it also seems like it's just that one machine, right? And you just like
Lunge.
You stretch? I don't
Yeah.
know.
No, it's
Yoga.
it's like some sort of lunges, right?
Yeah, you can go to the machine. I just did like I do all my workouts on YouTube. So it's like an elevated yoga, but I like yoga. But the Pilates, I just felt like I wasn't doing the exercises right. / they were all like body weight ones, so it was just kind of, I don't know, not productive. I feel like.
I've been to a couple yoga classes and I like them a little bit, but I was telling Katie, like, I think I'm used to like feeling competitive and just going like, like in workout classes. So it's just different. But there's one with like gentle yoga, and it's more low key than the regular yoga class. And they put relaxing music, they dim the lights, and sometimes they even like spray you with essential oils if you want to be sprayed. So, like, wow.
Ooh. When I did core power, that was the only reason why I'd like to go, because it's like, you're escaping from the outside world, and they talk like super calm like that. Like,
Oh,
focus on yourself, focus on what's your intention for today. Like,
yeah.
it was like, I don't know. I was like, damn, this is cheaper than therapy. Like, I would walk out like floating. Like, I just felt like,
Yeah.
like I just got all my anger out.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything helps, especially exercise.
Mhm.
Even walking. That's what I've been doing. I've taken my parents out to walk
Oh, nice.
because themselves they wouldn't. At least my dad wouldn't. My mom walks in the mornings, but I'm taking my dad on evening walks with my sister's dog.
That's nice.
Yeah, something is something.
Yeah. It's been so cold out up here that I don't want to do anything. Has it been cold over in SoCal?
Yes, I'm
Mhm.
like literally like wearing our hoodies, like our puffy
It's
jackets, like if
it's
we're
so
going in the
cold.
snow.
Like, it's so cold. I feel the need to, like, Ramon needs to like double jackets.
Oh,
I bought a heater for my
Oh
room.
shit.
Yeah, yeah. So
my cat sits on a heating pad. So
Oh,
I don't know if that's good for her. Maybe Darlene, you can let me know. But
yeah,
I got
it's
it
fine.
from, okay.
As
I
long
got
as
it for
it's like a
me.
low level.
Yeah.
You're not burning her butt.
And I'm not
Yeah.
cooking her from the inside out.
No. Yeah, no, because it does happen. There was a patient that we spayed, and she was like on level 3 out of 5, but she reached 105.
Oh.
And then I was like, shit, I left you on there too long.
Oh,
And then
you.
yes,
Oh
me.
my
I mean, it's because we're
gosh.
busy. We're like in between surgeries, and then we come out. I
Mhm.
checked on her, and then I was like, oh no, you need to be
Wait,
lower.
Darlene, do you actually see all that shit being done? Like the dog being opened up and crap?
Yeah, I helped the doctor. Yeah,
How is
An
it? Is it fascinating?
it can be. I mean, most of the surgeries is like that we do is like spay neuters, mass removals. There was one. Oh, most recently, I mean, it was a spay, but the kitty, like its bladder was so full of urine, and it was so hard to express, so we had to do it like inside of her. Like we
Oh.
took out urine while the doctor had the abdomen open because it was full, so it was blocking the way for her to like be able to spay the cat. So that was pretty cool. I had never seen that, like the
Oh,
bladder from the inside.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you did that.
Oh, that brings me to my next question. Is it legal to do like what is it that you guys do with like that it leaves a blue line?
Oh, the
Like when
tattoo.
you yeah.
Hmm.
Like you guys actually do a tattoo?
I mean, at this hospital they don't, but at my old hospital they used to. And then
Like
like at
why?
some shelters usually they do on the abdomen, like when they get spayed, because that's
Uh-huh.
showing that they're spayed or neutered.
Oh, okay, because like
Obviously,
my
they ask the
aunt's
owner.
okay, because my aunt's dog recently like got was it spayed for a female, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and she came back with like they didn't get her approval or anything, but the dog has a heart with like
Oh,
they just straight up did a heart and like 4 dots, like to make it like pretty. And I was like, is
oh
that
wow.
legal? Didn't even get your
I mean, if
consent
they
to give
ask
her a
the people,
tattoo.
They didn't ask her.
because like
No,
with
she
my
came back with a
coworkers,
heart.
with my coworkers, they were joke. They're like, oh, if we like end up doing or spaying or neutering, like, can you do this to my dog or blah blah. But like usually it's just a line. Like Jack just has a
Yeah.
line.
Yeah, Ramon also has a line. That's why I was like, this bitch
Yeah.
came back with a
Oh,
straight up like
Stop,
heart.
Trav, stop.
They're trying to prepare for their new profession.
that's so funny.
That's really
I've never seen that. I mean, I've heard people like
Wow.
joke about it, but I've never seen it be
Oh,
done.
wow.
Yeah, no, I'll send you guys a photo next time I see her. Like it's a straight up like it's a heart and she has like
Oh
4
my
like dots.
gosh.
That's
That's
crazy.
hilarious.
What if they thought it was one of their dogs? You
Well,
know,
they-
like,
Really?
and they're like, oh, this would be cute. And they're like, oh, we did the wrong.
The wrong dog.
Like, oh, that wasn't your dog? No. Oh my God. I don't know.
You can't erase it.
yeah,
At least it wasn't something offensive.
that's
What?
true.
Cute.
That's true.
Imagine like a little middle finger or something. That would-
Oh my gosh.
That's hilarious.
Okay, well, next Sunday, the 14th, 8 to 12, don't read 13.
Copy that.
Let's see who dies. Just kidding.
Hi.
JK!
No, I think someone's gonna die in this next section. I do.
Yeah, it might. No, I'm thinking the middle section, like maybe the 3rd week, 4th week.
We'll have to do one of those little what is it called when people would bet on when something happens? A
Bet.
pool? I don't know.
Oh, is it a quinela?
I don't know what it's called exactly, but I've seen it in TV shows. All right,
Oh, man.
let's see. We shall see.
Okay. Well, see y'all next week. Have a good night.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.